I was about to turn 50. I was in shock. I was scared. I was hopeless. I challenged myself to do 50 brave things before turning 51. This is the story of my year of living dangerously. Episode 1, numbers 1, 2, and 3 on the list. Got out of bed, took a walk, and told the truth. I'm a late bloomer, a really late bloomer. In fact, I haven't actually bloomed yet, so I guess I'm a not yet bloomer. I know it's going to happen. At least I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen. I'm a typical gifted underachiever, and I've waited all my life for the moment when my drive to achieve would override my debilitating desire to hide. I was so busy waiting that I stopped paying attention to how much time had gone by until my husband mentioned that I was about to turn 50. I fell apart. I truly fell apart. How was it possible? 50? Wasn't I just 38 last year? Where did the time go? I lost all those years doing what? Nothing. I hadn't achieved any of my personal goals, and now my time is almost over? 50? It couldn't be possible. I was totally devastated. I took to my bed. I cried a lot. I listened to Adele on repeat so she could keep reminding me that I too was so mad of getting old. It made me reckless. I felt reckless and angry and sad and desperate and so very lost. I had let myself down. I had carried all of my baggage with me, and I had given my abusers free rein and let them steal my life. I felt like I just lost my whole adulthood in a blink, and I had nothing to show for it. I stayed in bed, leaving it only when I absolutely had to tend to my family. I continued on this way for 6 months. I have a husband, Rob, and I have a daughter, Molly, who at this time was 11. I noticed that Molly's behavior was starting to change. She went from an agreeable, happy child to someone who cried and was sad and frustrated. One night when she was leaving to go to a sleepover, Molly and I had an argument because of her newfound behavior. After she left, I went for a walk instead of going back to my bed. This was a big deal. I used to walk every day before my breakdown and hadn't walked since. Taking this walk was a pivotal moment in my life and was going to mark a before and an after. Partway through my walk, as I was trying to process what was happening, I heard these words spoken in my head. "You've been saying goodbye." I was so stunned by the words. Was I? Was I really saying goodbye? Is that what all this was coming to? I realized that I had been slowly leaving parts of my routine for others to take care of. I left groups and friends and stopped living. I was done. I had been absolving myself of more and more so that no one would notice when I was gone. At least that's what I told myself. I was teaching my husband and daughter how to do what I do so that they could get along without me. I just didn't realize that that's what I was doing. I was waiting in bed to die. I walked home and called Rob up to talk to me. I looked at him and said the most difficult words that I had ever had to say to him. "I've been saying goodbye." He was angry. No, that's not big enough. He was livid. He felt betrayed. He was hurt and frustrated and terrified. I told him that I was sorry, that Molly's behavior was because of me. "How dare I say goodbye," he said to me. "How dare I believe that they could survive? How dare I be so selfish and weak and insensitive? I just felt numb, paralyzed. Please don't ask me to stay. Please don't ask me to carry this for one more day." He thought I was going to kill myself. I was dumbfounded. I'm not suicidal. I just want to die. There's a difference. I swear there's a difference. Isn't there? I don't think he cared much for the distinction since the outcome would be the same. I was saying goodbye. Getting out of bed was the first brave thing that I did. Taking the walk was the second brave thing. And telling the truth was the third. I faced the truth and owned it. Now what? Sometimes bravery is just taking that first step. Episodes of Broken to Brave are released every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me on this journey of healing and growth. If you want to go deeper into this story and hear it from a spouse's perspective, My husband and I have a Patreon-only show where we have an extended, behind-the-scenes discussion of every episode, which also posts twice a week. Here's a sample of the first Patreon-only show.
But having been with you for 32 years at that point, I know full well how difficult those easy things were.
Yeah. Which is why I wanted you involved in the project.
Yeah. So
that people could hear there's so much more to it than anything I could say on my own.
Right.
And there are so many other sides, to consider. So in this particular one, so you told me you're 50. I freaked out because to me, I lost 30 years.
Right.
I didn't feel like...
No, you lost 50 years.
I did. But
you really did, because...
Yes, I know. And that's...
Your life was stolen from you.
Heartbreaking. But the 30 where you feel like I get to make the choices for my life, I made choices still based on my abusers, and I carried so many of them with me. And
it affected you, it affected me, it affected our business.
Devastating for me to have that wake-up call and go, seriously? Like, now you're 50. Nice job. Like what the hell?
Right.
Why didn't you dump them? Why didn't you leave when Rob asked you when you were 19 to go to New York? Like, why didn't you go? And that sometimes, like, someone will say, what would you do differently or whatever? And I'm like, or what would you tell younger you or whatever? And I'd be like, oh my God, go to New York, but then we wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have
I wouldn't
this.
Give up any part of our journey for what we are now.
Other
than the one where we learn to make a good, comfortable living.
Yeah, there you go.
That would help.
Would have been nice.
But everything, when we started our business, you kept pointing out, this is the culmination of our lives.
Yeah.
All of our interests, all the things we've done, they all built to this point. And here's the crazy thing, 7 years into the business, that's still happening.
Yeah.
This project is a prime example.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So do I think that life ends at 50? No. Was I completely freaking out? Yes. And do I still 2 years later look at that and go, oh, my life is over? No. Hopefully I have a lot of years left. Hopefully that's the middle age and I still have time. Can I get that time back? No. Can I ever have a 20-year-old body to go, let me start over and let me treat it differently or let me view it differently, let me get healthy around? I can't go back. I can't have a 20-year-old body, but I can do something with this one. I feel like when you ask me, what were you thinking, and why were you that upset or why did you feel like that was the end? It was just a reaction to the shame and the guilt and the fear of what have I done and why wasn't I stronger? Why didn't I fight harder? Why didn't I get away? Why didn't I do better for you? Why didn't I do better for our daughter? To hear the rest of this episode and get other exclusives, become a patron to Broken to Brave at patreon.com. You can also follow my blog at brokentobrave.com for even more insights and engaging content. Links are in the show notes. Broken to Brave is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted and written by me, Martha Southgate. Thank you so much for listening. Now go do something brave.